Life as a werewolf moon. Come and hold my hairy hand down at the Black Lagoon.
Wow, what a crazy week it has been for Halloween Horror Nights announcements. We've had 3 original house announcements, we've had 5 scare zone announcements, 2 show announcements, and even a super secret 10th house when the 9th house hasn't even been announced yet. What? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of give a little brief overview of the houses because I don't want to make this video too long. I'm sure that you've read the descriptions of the houses already, and if not, I'll put a link to the Universal blog down below. You can go and read it. So the first up from the announced houses was Chance's house, and that is Lunatic's Playground 3D. You won't stand a chance. That's right, this is going to be a 3D house. I didn't really think there was going to be a 3D house this year, but there is, and I can't think of a house that would work better in 3D than Chance's. So this is going to take over directly from where the Carnage Returns show left off last year. This is going to be such an incredible house, and it's going to be so different to anything that we've seen before because we're really going to see the 2 completely different variations of what's going on in Chance's mind. So we are going to see how she's seeing it in her head, which is all fantastic and bright and crazy, but then we're going to see the true real life gritty side of what's actually happening. So an example of it is that in her asylum she has cut up some of her fellow inmates, and her fellow inmates have kind of stitched them back together and arranged them as marionettes. Now in her head she's going to see them as really fantastic, amazing puppets that she's created, but the true side of that is going to be that it's going to be a big gory gritty mess, and I'm interested to see how they're going to kind of display those 2 sides, and especially with it being 3D as well. Definitely excited to see this. I cannot wait. The second original house announcement was Tomb of the Ancients. I can't wait to see this house. A few months ago they released some pictures of them making it behind the scenes, and as soon as I saw the kind of stone brick wall, I was like, oh guys, I know what this is going to be. I was doing a Diz After Dark podcast and I was like, okay, I'm just putting it out there. I think this is going to be a mummy kind of house or an Egyptian kind of house. Definitely how I'm feeling after seeing that brick wall. And it turns out I was right, that's what it is. It's going to have bits from South American, Asian and Egyptian cultures, so we're going to see all kinds of amazing mythical creatures. I think this house is going to be so visually amazing. I can't wait to see all of the scenes, and I think it's just going to be fantastic to walk through and look at, if I'm not too scared, which I probably will be. The final original house to be announced was Ghost Town, The Curse of Lightning Gulch. Now this house was codenamed The Requel, and it was codenamed The Requel because this is going to be a kind of continuation or a retelling of the original Ghost Town house that we had in 2004. Now the story of Ghost Town is that people used to come to the town, Lightning Gulch, in search of gold, but that is not what they found. All they found was death and destruction. The town was so overwhelmed by greed, and so one day the town was completely swallowed by a huge storm. And now the only time that Lightning Gulch comes back to life is when lightning hits. So this house is going to be filled with huge strobe effects, loads of corpsey cowboys, and it's going to be in a really authentic looking western town. I can't wait to see this house. I think it's going to be incredible. So on to the super secret 10th house. So secret that it wasn't even rumoured, there wasn't even whispers of this. It was super secret. It got announced today, even though the 9th house hasn't even been announced yet. This is something that I've heard Halloween Horror Nights fans asking for quite a few years now, and it's a kind of add-on or I think they call it upcharge house, and that's basically where you pay a little bit extra to have a more intimate experience. So Halloween Horror Nights have gone one step further with that. They're not only giving you an intimate experience, they're making it virtual reality as well. So basically it's going to be set in a a warehouse, you're going to go through in groups of 4 and you'll have your virtual reality headset on, but you'll also encounter scare actors, so I'm not too sure how it's going to work yet. Obviously you must take the virtual reality headsets off at some point, otherwise you wouldn't see the scare actors. And the premise of the house basically is that you have to get to the bottom of a paranormal occurrence, so you have to see what's going on. You have to kind of solve the mystery of this paranormal activity in your groups. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. But you don't get it included, obviously, because it's an add-on house. In your ticket, it's $49.99 for the add-on. And I think that's the only way that this could work, because if it was included in your ticket, everyone would go to it. It wouldn't be an intimate experience. They couldn't possibly allow small groups like that to go through if everybody could do it. It just wouldn't work. The queues would be 10 hours long. It would never ever be a feasible thing to do. So I'm really glad that they brought this in. I think that I am going to do it because I love virtual reality and I'm interested to see how this will work. So I think that I probably will do it, but I'll be terrified. Definitely terrified. And I've heard that you're going to be in really enclosed spaces, obviously, but how will they guide you through if you've got a virtual reality headset on? Is what I don't understand. Unless they just kind of put you in a room and you just stay in one room for the virtual reality bit and then you walk through the house. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see when it starts. It's not going to be for the first few weekends. I'll tell you when it's going to start. So it'll start on the 29th of September and it'll finish on the 31st of October. So it's just a little over a month of the event that it'll be running for. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see for the first group of people to go in and then they can tell us what it's going to be like. You need to book your times, so you can't just kind of rock up and expect to do it, because obviously then they'd have the same issue that there'll just be really long queues. So you need to make a reservation, you get your time slot, and then you just turn up a little bit before your time slot to get ready, be prepared, be taken to the house. It's going to be interesting. So the first scare zone that we'll talk about is Banshee's Lair, and the description of this one says that we'll travel deep into the forest where we'll meet mythical creatures and evil spirits from the ancient world. We've also heard that it's going to have a traditional Halloween theme with a Celtic influence. So I did a little bit of Googling about Celtic Halloween influences, and what popped up was Samhain. And if you're thinking that you recognise the word Samhain but you're not too sure where from, it's what was written on the wall or on the chalkboard in Halloween 2. And what Samhain is a Celtic Gaelic festival that celebrates the end of the harvest season, moving into the winter months. So when I think harvest, I only think of one thing, and that is scarecrows, and that makes me very, very, very scared. I am terrified of this scare zone already. I know what's coming. Scarecrows and tree creature things, basically. Next up is Survive or Die. So a catastrophe has hit the Earth's atmosphere, and one group of survivors has created a machine that creates clean air, but 2 other groups of survivors are trying to battle to take control of this machine. I'm seeing the steampunk machine that was in the steampunk scare zone last year kind of remodeled into a clean air machine. I think that would look awesome. But I'm feeling like this is going to be a kind of cannibal scare zone. You can either choose the right team or you can feed their starving ranks. So I think it's going to be filled with a whole bunch of cannibals munching on arms, munching on legs, battling for this machine, and I think it's going to be super gory and super scary. If you didn't already guess from the beginning of this video, the scare zone I am the most excited about this year is Vamp 1955. Now this scare zone is going to take place at the homecoming parade of Hollywood High School. The parade is going to be gatecrashed by vampire greasers. So I'm picturing tons of 50s style cheerleaders, football players and students, and then Danny Zuko-esque vampires It's gonna be amazing. I am so excited. I am basically gonna live in this scare zone for the entire time. I love anything 50s, I love anything vampires, and I think this would fit in really well near Mel's Diner. I don't know whether they'd be able to fit it in there or not, just because there's a show there this year, but I'm guessing it's going to be where the icons were last year, and it'll kind of just lead around to Mel's Diner. But either way, it's going to be amazing. So next up is Dead Man's Wharf, and a shipping vessel named Annabelle Lee, and I love the reference to Edgar Allan Poe. Went out to sea, didn't return, and so the wharf was left abandoned in a kind of memorial to the vessel. But now a strange fog has come in over the wharf, and all of the dead fishermen have come back to seek revenge on the town that abandoned them. I think this is going to be a super cool scare zone. I think we're not only going to see really creepy looking dead fishermen, I think we're going to see all kinds of weird and wonderful sea creatures. And I think this will fit in super well where the All Might Die in scare zone was last year, because that is a wharf area in the San Francisco. And finally, a scare zone that I'm looking forward to so much, and that's Chance's scare zone, which is called A Chance in Hell. Basically what's going to happen in this scare zone is Chance is going to be recruiting all of her fellow cellmates to join her on her big mass carnage explosion. So we're going to see tons of dead bodies from all the people that have wronged her or tried to stop her, and I feel like this is just going to be such a good scare zone. I'm so excited about it. And this scare zone is going to lead on directly from Chance's house. So in the last bit of Chance's house, she's going to be escaping from the insane asylum, escaping from the prison, and then this is going to be all the carnage that ensues when she finally gets out. I think this is going to be incredible, and I think this is going to be in the Simpsons area. I think it would fit really well there, and it has been rumoured that Chance's house will be in the Men in Black queue, so it would definitely fit well in this area. Now show-wise, obviously we have Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It would not be Halloween Horror Nights without Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I love so much going to watch this show every year. I love all of the kind of pop culture references in it. Obviously I love Bill and Ted themselves. It's always an amazing show. It's always super funny. Definitely excited about that this year. So the second and final show that they announced is Academy of Villains House of Fear. When I first heard this name and I hadn't read into what it actually was yet, I was like, yes, Chance is going to have her own show, but that's not the truth. I mean, that's not what the show is going to be. So Academy of Villains are a dance troupe. I think that they've been on America's Got Talent, I believe, but I think they also perform around America, so people have probably heard that they've probably got quite a big name. So I think that's going to be a fun show. It's going to be, obviously there's them dancing and other kind of speciality acts. So I'm seeing things like contortionists, and I'm guessing the kind of dancing and acts that were at Jack and Chance's show last year. So obviously not the throwing knives at Amanda and getting put in a blender. I'm seeing more of like the dancing that the dancers were doing, and the contortionism and the acrobatics and things like that. That's the kind of stuff that I'm expecting from the show, and I think it'll be a really fun, really high energy. I think it'll be a pretty cool show, so I'm excited to see it. So I know that I don't usually talk about Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood on my videos. I just focus on Orlando because that's the one that I go to. But they made an announcement a few days ago that they were going to be doing one big purge scare zone, and I loved the purge scare zone that we had in Orlando, and I kind of did expect it to come to Orlando this year. Obviously it hasn't, but I was so excited for Hollywood, I decided that I was going to just make some costumes anyway, and I'm going to probably wear them, one of them at least, as my Halloween costume. And I had so much fun doing it that I thought I'd just make a little video clip of it anyway, so I'll add that onto the end of this video. You can check it out. The Statue of Liberty mask was so much fun to make. I loved making that. It was really fun. I love making anything like that, really. So check that out and let me know what you think of it. And if you're going to Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, are you excited about the thought of having one big scare zone taking over the park? Or would you prefer a whole bunch of different scare zones? Let me know your thoughts, and if you are going, I'd love to hear from you after the event so you can tell me what you thought of it. So we've had a whole bunch of announcements and one super crazy secret house announcement. But how are you feeling about it all? Are you as excited as I am? Let me know in the comments, or as usual you can follow me on Twitter and we can talk about it there. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel, because I am going to be filming from the event. Like I said before, obviously not in the houses because that is really naughty, but I'll be filming all of the scare zones and all of me walking around the park, and I'll be talking like I usually do. So subscribe so you don't miss them, and I think that's it. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!
Announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.